So opening shot, we see kind of a wide, distant shot and sort of a cave-like structure, but it's artificial in nature. Kind of move in, you see a large computer screen in the front with a chair in the middle of it, as somebody sitting at it typing at it. As it moves in, it becomes obvious that it's looks to be Remort sitting at his computer. He's very intently punching away at a bunch of keys, and as he hits enter, the screen transitions to a frantically moving, just search function. News articles, pictures, blog entries, just rapidly cycling through. Eventually, an image kind of rushes to the forward and sets at the bottom of the screen, and it's an image of a hero known as Synthetica. It's kind of a neon-colored uh, heroine who uses synth music to fight crime, and underneath her picture, just the words "missing" start to flash. Then another image shows up, and it's the large-brained heroine known as Gap, also missing. And just more and more keep going with missing underneath: Steam Kid, Starrier, Whiskey Fire, Democracy Dino, Solarian. And then the last one we see is very much more familiar one as Respec's picture pops up as the search continues. And so it's just kind of a prologue scene that your characters don't know about. But then we cut the flashback. You don't know how long exactly, but to the interior of the ship as you arrived around the planet. You see Mr. Body and the Soul Drive and everybody else standing around. When the ship comes out of the warp, we see like this glistening technoplanet that filled the screen. There's a number of orbiting space stations and ships in orbit around the planet. And as Mr. Body tried to control the ship, they had found out that all the control from the ship was gone as the autopilot kind of took over. Um, Nothing on the view screen or any sensors would detect this, but at some point, as you drew nearer to the planet, a wave of energy kind of washed out and it flowed through the ship and through all of you. And as a shiver passed from each of you, you kind of passed out as a large glowing energy pulse, visible this time, fired from the space station, striking the ship. Um, so now, as you come to, you're coming out of one of the pods that was like similar to the weapon cells. The last thing you consciously remember was the world kind of freezing in the altered fantasy space, and the words like simulation paused, kind of reverberating through every cell of your body. And as the goo and the fluids kind of clear out from that allow you to survive and function in the pods, the scene is this very sterile looking hyper advanced room. It does have a view screen kind of along the wall showing more of the like technological marvels that you saw as you approach the planet, but there's nobody else currently in the room with any of you as you all start coming to. So I don't know if you have any interactions you want to do with each other or anything like that, or
I ask if everyone is doing okay.
Wait, what? I didn't catch that. I think it went out.
Oh, I said I ask, is everyone feeling okay?
What just happened?
Yeah, you guys. Everyone else saw that, right? Oh, actually, Kyle, real quick, time check. How long has it been since I absorbed osmosis?
it's not been that long. But so you're good on that. I still have that in mind.
Okay.
Something similar to that is kind of the view you have, the artificial moons and space stations filling the window screen.
Just to check, we're not on the fantasy characters, right?
No, you're back to your regular characters.
Okay. I had the weirdest dream.
Was I in it?
Yes, you were there, and you were there, and you were there. But it felt so real.
I'm not convinced it's not still happening.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it didn't. I had this giant sword. I mean, it's completely fiction.
Do we have like anything connected to our bodies, or are we just...
No, you're just free floating. It interface through like kind of the same neural link as in the other ship, where you're just kind of floating in the cell, but nothing's actually physically connected to you.
Okay. But it's
Okay,
still...
we are able to tell, like, now that we're out of it, that it wasn't real, right? It doesn't feel like it really just happened, right?
You have the memories from it, but you know that the sense of self from it would have been artificial, and that the view out of the window at the very least matches the tough sort of technology you saw coming in when you first arrived at the planet.
Okay, so I don't need to check and make sure my arm is still here.
To make sure what?
Oh, I was joking, yeah, because last time I got my arm, when we were still in there, I got my arm ripped off, so I was making sure I wasn't waking up and being like, okay, 2 arms, good.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, if you still want to do that, because it would be jarring, but either way, it's definitely, this is closer to what reality should be. And your arm is there and it's fine and everything.
And the ship's still on autopilot?
You don't appear to be in the ship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the room is like very sleek, white, steelish, techno modern, very sterile looking, but it's not any room you've ever seen on the ship. The last thing you remember before the fantasy world thing is just passing out on the ship and now waking up here.
Is there any way to get out of the whatever?
There does appear to be it's a lot of alien technology, but assuming doors are doors, there's something that does look like a door on one of the walls. Lots of different, what you would assume are some sort of like medical consoles, but again, it's alien tech, so you're not 100% sure.
Okay. Should I open the door? I'm asking as Mr. Body to my teammates.
Are there any features in this room? I mean, is it basically a plain room with our beds?
You've got the pods against one wall that you came out at. One wall is basically all window looking out on the city and the view from everything in space and stuff like that. You do appear to be very high up. You can't quite tell if you're actually in orbit or just on a massive spire type building. Um, the walls themselves are pretty plain, but again, there are machines in the room, different monitors, things like that. But it is all, again, like technology you're not familiar with at all. So exactly what they do or what they're there for, anything like that, you don't really know. And on one of the side walls, there is again what looks to be a door.
Yeah, just let me. Yeah, Respec's going to try to stand. Do we still have conditions, or are those all cleared?
Yeah, go ahead and clear anything you had.
Okay. So we're not super wobbly or anything. We're all rested up.
It's more of a just kind of disoriented because suddenly you pass out, strange reality, back to normal type of thing. But physically, you're fine.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Unless somebody has a plan.
Maybe we could see if we can get a sense of life forms or brain forms or whatever.
Okay, be ready for anything. Respec's going to just kind of adopt a fighting stance.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna go try to open the door, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, there's a panel next to the door. It looks like some sort of screen, but there's nothing on it at the moment. It is large enough. It's actually much larger than a human handprint, but there's, like I said, it doesn't appear to be active at the moment.
I guess I'll tap it.
It's sort of a light blue ripple kind of flutters across the screen, centered from around where you touched it.
I guess I'll press my hand on it.
Okay, you do that. It kind of ripples out again from the outline, the shape of your hand, and the ripples then kind of pulse back in and then ring out again, and it kind of starts fluctuating as if it's unsure of what to do. And at the last second, the ripples turn red, and just nothing else happens.
Red's bad, right?
Yeah, I think red is the universal color for bad or fail.
Yeah. Is it universal or is it just Earth?
Yeah, I don't. I guess I'll try to reach out with my powers to see if I can get a sense of anything living
Okay.
outside.
Go ahead and roll Unleash. All right. So yeah, as you reach out, you do feel a lot of different. I say different, but multiple. A lot multiple life forms, just kind of all over. Some of it feels somewhat like the ship in nature. Some of it feels more like the impressions you got of the travelers that arrived in the ship when it first crashed. But there's the place is definitely full of living things.
So if the ship was one big living thing,
Correct.
does the room seem to be one big living thing?
The room does not. Some of the tech feels like it's partially alive, including the door panel screen. Like it's a weird sense where it's not what you would normally expect from anything living, but it's not entirely artificial either.
Um, can I get a sense of it? I guess can I try to control the panel to see if I can make it do what I want?
Yeah, go ahead and roll provoke. Provoke the door.
Provoking the door.
Let me check the moves real quick, see if a fail has anything to draw back. Not really. So okay, so yeah, as you've kind of weave your energy patterns into that you're feeling from the door, and kind of guide what feels like it would make it do what you want, as the screen just kind of flashes that back to the blue, and the blue turns to like green, and the door just opens, and it opens onto just a long corridor with a number of doors on either side as you go down, and one large door again at the very end. There are no people or anything in that hallway.
I guess I just kind of look back at everyone with an okay look on my face, and then start walking towards the other door.
Can I reach out to see if I can just feel minds? I'm not looking to attack anybody or anything, just feel presence.
Yeah, go ahead and roll Unleash.
Okay.
Yeah, you get like you can't, you weren't trying to actually read any minds or anything they were thinking, but there are definitely something in the side rooms and above and below on different floors, and just it's pretty full of sentient intelligences.
We're surrounded, all sides, both above and below, and all around us. Do you want me to mark a condition? I mean, I know I wasn't trying to do anything super stressful, but it's also 7 to 9 normally says mark a condition.
No, I mean it because it was such a fleeting thing. I mean, short or temporary was in the nature of what you were doing, so that fits with that.
Okay.
So as y'all are kind of conversing and talking, actually the door on the other end slides open at the end of the hallway, and it is again pretty large door, pretty long hallway, and light kind of pours through, and you see the silhouette of what appears to be some sort of large mechanized form, but you can't make out any details as it starts approaching with just this bright light coming in from behind it. It does have it is living, or there's something living in it.
In the door that's up ahead?
In the giant mechanized humanoid form that's like coming through the doorway at the far end of the hall.
Oh, okay. I guess I'd say hello.
As you call out to it, it kind of raises an arm and waves at you all. And it looks humanoid in nature, which so it seems out of place when it suddenly it's I would say guesstimating from your distance, you figure it's probably about 8 or 9 feet tall and very bulky. But it suddenly drops to all fours, even though it has arms and legs, not 4 legs or anything, and starts kind of galloping down the hallway. And as it gets closer, you can see there is some sort of domed head over the top, but it is opaque. You can't really see through it as it comes through, and it jumps back up to its feet, and the dome kind of slides back, and you see Carmine's head sticking out of the little top as he has a little headpiece on, and through the machine you hear, "You're all awake. That's great." Carmine is Polymer's cat, if you don't remember.
Wait, they're hearing him now too?
Through the robotic voice in the machine.
Okay, making sure.
Carmine is Polymer's cat?
Yeah, the cat was with y'all on the ship.
That's right. That's right.
So was Nancy, but she's nowhere to be seen.
Should we be on the lookout for another robot, for a Robo Nancy?
Is that in character or out of character?
I guess asking out of character, but in character I'd be looking around.
We could just ask Carmine where Nancy is. Hi, Carmine. And I pat its head, or I give it scritches.
And he kind of like moves its head as best it can in the suit, and you hear these very mechanical purrs coming out of the robot body.
Have you seen Nancy?
Oh yes, she is fine. Our guests, our hosts have been very pleasant.
Well, that's nice.
Neither I nor Nancy were perceived as a potential threat.
So where are the hosts?
They thought we should send a familiar face, but I can take you to them.
I guess I look at the rest of the team for assurance or agreement.
Yeah, I mean, what's the worst that could happen? We already hijacked the ship, came across the galaxy. How much more trouble can we get into?
Yeah, we need to find her.
I just sort of shrug, but I'm also glaring at Carmine like, you little shit.
He's just kind of flexing in his giant robot body now, like just still getting joy out of having a human-like body.
I say, okay, take us to them, Carmine.
Oh, of course. And he turns around and just follow me, and he starts like running down the hallway, back on all fours again. You follow. He kind of goes out that next hallway, and it's actually on like an elevator type device. You get all file onto that. He pushes a button, and the doors close, and it starts going down, and then it stops, and you hear like a whirring noise as it starts going sideways now. You're in it for a while before it finally opens up again. And as it opens up, you kind of step out into what looks like a large garden, um, but with strange trees and plants you've not seen before. And like the best thing you can relate them to are like butterflies kind of flying all around. And you just see kind of like Nancy is just kind of like moving about, like kind of like laughing at them as she reaches for them, they release like a little burst of sparkles as they get away, and she's having fun with that. And off in the little bit higher up, you can see like a balcony, and standing on the balcony are two beings that are very lanky. They their height they're at, you can't quite tell their size, but they do appear larger than humans. Silverish gray flesh, like in larger eyes, and Mr. Body, you recognize them as being of the same race as the ones who were with the ship when it crashed. Nancy hasn't noticed anybody come in yet. She's just lost, like playing with these creatures.
Okay, so
That's some of them up there, and he points to the ones on the balcony.
hey, Syphon, you want to go say hi to Nancy?
Yeah, can I run up to her?
Yeah, as you start approaching, and like she happens to notice you, Lucy, and like she runs up, and this place is amazing.
Okay. Are you okay? What have you been doing?
Well, I've been in here, and they've kind of shown me around a little bit, and oh, they have like some of the most amazing food I've ever had. It's so good. They said y'all were fine. They just had to make sure that y'all weren't gonna hurt them or anything. I told them y'all were heroes, back on Earth, and they seemed to find that amusing. But they just had to make sure y'all weren't gonna like try to take over or anything. So I've been kind of playing around because they said y'all were okay, and they seemed trusting.
Really?
All right, I guess I'll see if I can approach any of the people.
Okay, yeah. As you start approaching them, they seem to take more interest in you as you walk towards them. Um, as the balcony type thing they're on, the door behind them seals and it lowers down to ground level, and they are also height wise about the same height as Carmine, 8 to 9 feet. But again, they do appear to be organic in nature, and otherwise they have that lanky silverish look to them. No body hair anywhere, and they kind of look like a less creepy version of this typical gray aliens. And so they are at ground level now as the balcony kind of stopped and part of it opened up, and they step out into the garden.
I say hello.
They kind of nod towards you. It's like a bowing nod of acknowledgement and greeting.
I guess I do it back to them.
They seem appreciative of it.
I say we're from Earth, from Halcyon City.
They nod, and one of them starts speaking, and you kind of hear it. You hear it, but you also kind of feel it as it starts talking to you. And yes, we are aware. We have reviewed the records of the vessel you piloted to get here. We appreciate the return of our ship.
Do you happen to know why I was able to pilot it?
It was confusing to us as well. We had never seen any who were not our kind, who could pilot our technology. So that was part of why we had you under observation. Our results were interesting, along with the data from the ship. We have concluded the only logical answer. So yes, we believe we do know why. At this point, Carmine like zooms past between y'all, running around on all fours, just chasing some of the little butterfly things. Well, that one is quite energetic.
I just sigh. Yeah, you could say that. Has he tried to eat anyone yet?
know. Should we be concerned? He did not seem dangerous.
I just sort of glare back over at him. No, but he tried to eat the last aliens that we met. They were different, though, so he might not eat you. And I'm trying to say that as non-threateningly as possible, more just that he's a little asshole, so watch out.
Yeah, but you say that they kind of look at each other, and one of them lifts up its left hand and kind of touches the side of its head and blinks, and suddenly Carmine's suit freezes up and he's just kind of stuck in place. What's going on? Why can't I control this? Well, we can't have you eating our people, so we will keep you immobile for now. He just starts whining, and in your mind, like psychically, you actually hear him just like cussing you out in cat, basically, like he's meowing, bypassing the translator on the mecha body.
I just smile.
Anyway, are any of you hungry? We can give you rations.
I could eat.
What if this is like the fairy circles? Ixnay on the food.
Fairy circles.
No, we don't know what their food will do to our metabolism. What if
Let's
we
test it on the cat.
That's a good idea.
Well, at the mention of food again, Nancy's eyes just kind of light up, and she grabs you by the shoulder. Lucy, you have to try it. It's so good.
Okay.
They've already got her.
We will send somebody for Carmine. And they turn and motion for you all to follow, as they, assuming you do.
Yeah, I don't want to seem ungrateful.
Okay, so they walk to the end of the garden, and there's another door, and they touch the panel, and you've got the blue ripples coming out of their hands, and their hands are much larger, and they fit the panel better. And the ripples go out, and then they flash, and the door opens, and they guide you through, and you just see a lot of sealed doors as you walk until it finally comes around and opens up to what would look like a large cantina type place, tables and chairs and everything. And Nancy just kind of runs in and runs over to the wall of machines, and the machines have like little crystalline bowls on next to them. She takes it and just, it looks like sherbet machines basically, but as she turns it, it releases this strange gelatinous substance out, and she takes what they've provided, basically spoons, and just starts like chowing down on it. And as the aliens motion towards the devices for you to get some if you wish. It looks disgusting, but Nancy's just like devouring it.
So where did you learn about our dietary needs?
It is synthetic. It is not harmful to your physiology. We made sure before we fed our guests.
Right, so, I mean, you've been studying us?
A quick scan of your physiology was done upon your arrival.
Uh-huh.
You are all humans, though some of you are altered from the norm. It's not difficult to create food for your physiology.
Can I pretend to eat without actually eating?
I mean, you can do that, or just not get anything, or whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some food.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I'm not eating, but I'm gonna observe.
Syphon, do you get some too?
Yeah, I got some.
Okay, so y'all get the little bowls and you pour the goop into it. And, upon first taste, it's different for each of you. It's got a subjective taste to it, but it tastes like the most perfect thing you've ever tasted, whatever your particular flavor palette is attuned to. It is optimized to each individual user, basically, to be the best thing you've ever tasted. So if you're a big fan and your favorite foods are spicy, it's spicy for you. If your favorites are like desserts, it's super sweet. Like it is completely different for each of you.
I say this tastes just like sour cherry Jolly Ranchers.
Nancy is what? No, it's totally green tea pistachio.
I just laugh.
And she's filling up her third bowl already since y'all been back in the room.
Yeah, Respec's definitely not touching the stuff.
I'm sure you all have questions. We would be glad to answer what we can.
How long are you going to keep us here?
Well, you're not prisoners. We are working on setting up the necessary means to return you home. We can't allow you to take our ship, so we're preparing alternative means.
So what do we do in the meantime?
Wait. So I don't get to keep the ship?
No, it was never supposed to go where it did, though it appears it is a good thing that it did. It was lost to us um, years ago, and we thought we would never have it returned. We're still studying the nature of what made it crash, but no, its destination was not your world.
Where was it going then?
It was simply exploring. It was to go by your planet when it did, but it was just to keep going onwards and knowledge gathering expedition. It was to return here. Polymer, go ahead and roll. Let me see what it was called again, real quick. Assess the situation. Okay.
Oh, that's okay.
So, yeah.
Oh, 1 second. I needed to check. I think Carmine helps with. Oh, he's not even here, so I wouldn't get that bonus. Never mind.
Okay. Well, you can get rested if you feel the need for it. You can eat as much as you need. We would ask for your assistance, though, in a matter that has arisen since your arrival. If you said something, Polymer, it didn't come through.
Wait, what was that last part?
Oh, I just said if you said something, it didn't come through.
Oh, no, I didn't. Sorry.
What happened?
Well, one of you had another inside of them, and we extracted them. And that's what I was having you roll for. You didn't notice that osmosis was actually no longer within you.
Oh, where is that other now?
We were unaware of his capabilities, but to properly observe you, it was necessary to remove him, and he has taken control of a facility through the abilities he has.
That's probably not good. How far away is this facility?
We can get you there more or less instantaneously. due to the nature of our technology and his abilities, everything we have sent in, he has turned to his side.
That sounds right. You guys wanna go take care of him again?
It's better than sitting around watching you all eat that kind of gestures at the gruel they're eating.
We are thankful for your willingness to help. We will try to have the temporal engines online by the time you return. And one of them kind of motions, if you follow me, I can take you to transport.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Nancy starts to follow as well and go with. My first supervillain. All right.
Respec wouldn't stop her. She's proven useful.
Yeah, I agree.
I just sort of look over at Syphon like, well, she's your friend.
I just kind of shake my head like this girl is unstoppable.
When nobody actually stops her, she's like a bigger smile than she already had goes on her face because she figured somebody would try to stop her. So y'all all follow, and they take you around to effectively a shuttle bay as you pile into the transport, which is just a sphere with seats mounted on the inside.
Oh, Carmine. Did we get him? Did we scoop him up, or is he still stuck in this thing?
They were taking care of him unless you specifically asked for him to come with.
Yeah, I got.
And so you asked for him to come with?
Yeah.
Okay. Upon that, he reaches up and kind of touches his head again. A couple minutes, some few other members of the species come in, and they've got Carmine on sort of hover discs, pushing him through, and like kind of load him into the sphere with you before taking him off and reactivating his armor. That was embarrassing, and that comes through the psychic link, not the body that the others can understand.
I told you not to eat bugs.
These clearly aren't bugs. I would not eat these people.
Well, I don't know what you eat. What are cats? What even do cats eat anyway?
Whatever we want.
You see?
I don't want to eat people. The bugs were not people.
Well, okay, fine. Let's.
So you can kind of pile in, and the sphere lifts off and shoots out, and it kind of just moves across the cityscape very fast. It stops, though, right outside. As y'all approach, you can see this area has kind of been cordoned off, and it looks like they've actually destroyed parts around it, creating a ring of just ruin to keep it from spreading out. As on the interior, you see a number of buildings that are twisted and kind of warped from the other ones, and in the middle is a very large tower, and on its face, or on the side of the tower, that you actually see like Osmosis's face kind of growing out of it and looking around as it watches the pod arrive and everything.
It's like a less creepy Times Square.
What's Times Square?
It's a place on Earth.
Can we go there when we get back?
You did catch the part where I said this is a less creepy version.
Yeah, but it's still new.
Maybe.
So it lands outside the ruined circle barrier, and we can't provide much in the way of assistance. As we said, he bonds with our technology. and gains control of it. This is a tragedy we have not seen in quite a while on here. If the sphere opens up, if you need extraction, reach it, come outside the ruins, and we can retrieve you. And Carmine, and kind of like he just jumps out and starts stretching again now that he has control of his body. And Nancy gets out and follows him, and she's just kind of like, he's bent down now, and she's like just petting him as they stand there waiting.
Well, let's go, guys and gals.
Yeah, let's view it.
Oh wait, I'm the only guy.
Well, Carmine.
The cat counts, dang it.
Oh yeah. Let's go, y'all.
He said in Texan.
Right behind you.
Okay.
They take like our costumes and our masks and everything.
Yeah, you came too in what you had been wearing, and y'all were all in costumes, so.
Yeah. How foul is what we're wearing? I mean,
They don't seem to be any worse off than they were immediately after y'all left the cave in the ship.
it's probably pretty bad, but not super bad. Okay.
Yeah, just, I mean, caked with the sweat and stuff from going through the sewers and being covered in alien blood, but not anything beyond that, no.
I'm going to straighten up my mask. All right, what do we know about this guy?
Sorry, I tried to explain, but I was coughing. Okay, well, power-wise, he can absorb any material that he touches into himself and increase his strength and durability proportionate to whatever it is that he absorbed. I don't know anything about the metals and stuff here, so I don't know necessarily what that did for him. But that's the basics of what they gave him, or what Project Olympian made him able to do. I don't know if they've added anything since.
Is it taxing in any way? I mean, is there a limit?
He has limits similar to me. I know. Back before we broke out, I know he could only ever absorb one material at a time. But he also didn't used to be this big, so I don't know if they've made it so that he can do more than one. But he could, as long as it was only one thing, he could generally hold it as long as he wanted to, unless he just got tired. So.
Okay, so once upon a time, if we introduce more materials, he might snap out of it, but right now we don't know.
Right.
Does it affect his mind at all, or is it purely physical?
It was purely physical. Trying to do more than one would more just tire him out than anything else. But I mean, Project Olympian's already been messing around with his mind, so.
What if we fill that building full of concrete?
Do we have concrete? It would depend on what he's absorbed, though. If he's taken in something stronger than that, he'd probably be able to break his way out.
But do you think he would have just like gone on a rampage if he had been able to take in someone that strong?
Oh, based on the last couple times we fought him, definitely.
Has he made any demands?
No, he's simply continued to grow.
That's encouraging.
Do we know what he's currently absorbing? I mean, other than the building?
At this point, visually, it was the central building, but there's also a number of buildings around it. But then your host, beyond the architecture, he has a number of our ships that landed to drop off soldiers and their weapons. He is very well armed at this point.
Can we force an absorption?
I had never seen it before, but I know you guys were able to do that with me when I was knocked out, so possibly?
Do you have some sort of distribution system in your buildings for, say, fire or something else for moving chemicals through the building?
For airflow, our fire prevention systems are modular. They are not connected on a single system.
Okay. Trying to think if there's some way we could pump a sedative through the building.
Let me see. Hey, Kyle, out of character, how did they get him out of me? Because depending on what they did, I'm thinking I might use it as an excuse to activate my moment of truth once we get in there.
I mean, it was effectively similar to what Mr. Body and Respec did, and just supercharging your systems with a mental control over it, your form to force eject it, activate the mechanisms for it.
Okay, I can work with that. Then yeah, in game, I'll say that maybe doing that has caused me to destabilize just a little bit, more that I'm starting to feel sick than anything else, but yeah.
Okay. Oh, and before we forget, he reaches up and touches his head again, and Carmine is basically ejected from the suit. If he goes in that, he will take control. Carmine just starts whimpering now, just back to being a cat.
Sorry, Carmine.
Your delivery system idea. Did you have anything specific in mind?
I don't know, some sort of sleep agent or something if you've got medical to help, like what you used to help put us under.
We can try to concoct a personalized sedative. What was used on you as you arrived is much too large scale. It would destroy, or not destroy, but it would put out most of the planet fired from space as it was. But we will work on something, and we will let you know.
Yeah, it might reduce his control even if it doesn't knock him out. I kind of look to the others, specifically to Polymer, because she's the one with the information.
Sorry, what was that?
Do you think it would help just to limit his powers if we sedate him a little?
It should. It wouldn't cause him to lose whatever he has now, but I mean, sleep is sleep.
Yes, I will send word, and we will get to work on something.
Thank you.
And he kind of steps back into the pod and starts communicating with somebody on the other end somewhere.
Yeah, Respec's going to look up at that building, just deep in thought while absentmindedly rubbing her belly.
And I'll say, I don't know if the others would necessarily have noticed yet, but I'm starting to sort of clutch mine and double over just a little bit as we walk into the building.
Well, are you walking in now, or y'all were still on the outside ring?
Oh, right, we haven't started walking yet. Well, either way, then where we are, I'm starting to sort of clutch my stomach and double over just a little. Trying to hold it back so that they don't notice, but yeah.
Nancy's just kind of getting antsy, and she's like, "So what are we doing? What are we gonna do?"
Well, we're probably going to wait until they can set this up. Hopefully it's not too long. Then we go in. Right?
Guns.
Oh, what was that?
I said guns ablaze.
Yep.
No, we're heroes. We don't use guns.
Figuratively.
There are heroes that use guns.
Not real heroes. Those people are not real heroes.
I mean, Project Olympian wanted me to make sure I could fight them too, so I think it counts.
Real hero protects lives, doesn't destroy them.
But what if I mean I used a shotgun on the aliens. I'm not okay.
Yeah, and at that, Respec's just thankful she's got a mask because she is so red.
Yeah, Nancy's just kind of like head down now, kicking like at the ground.
Heroes don't use guns, except sometimes.
He comes back out of the pod, and it should be ready shortly. And so a few minutes pass, maybe 10 or 15, and as y'all kind of watch the space that osmosis has taken over, you do notice that it looks like different buildings and parts are kind of starting to get closer together, and other ones that are touching are starting to fuse together as if he's growing or transforming what he controls into some other form. And flying over the airspace, you see a number of the sphere pods come flying over. Each one of them has some little device attached to them that seems to open up and just starts raining down over the infected area. Then the host that's with you is just, this should be matched to human physiology. Hopefully it affects him the same.
Oh, it's a better chance than what we had.
And as
Going to kind of lean towards Mr. Body. Do you find it weird that the adults listen to us here? I was expecting a lot more fighting.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they are beyond, those kinds of social classes, division of social classes.
Maybe we should stay just a little bit longer.
Well, you won't eat their food, so
Yeah, yes, there's that.
well, and Mr. Body had asked if they knew why he could control it. They told him they knew. They just didn't actually give him the answer though. So there's also that to. As the sedative kind of rains down over it, as the parts that were transforming, they do seem to have slowed, and the movements on the osmosis face that is the side of the building have also seemed to have slowed. They're still active, but they appear to be about half speed.
Okay, that might give us a fighting chance. Now we just need to demolish the building. Or not. Look over at the aliens or the locals or...
yeah, I was just about to try to figure out what all he's taking in right now. Because if he's taking in anything sentient, we probably should just start destroying them.
We do not know if what he's done with our people, but there were many in what he has taken over. We hope they are still alive.
Ugh, this guy.
Okay, so at this point, what we really need is more information, and we're not going to get that out here, are we? Look to the building and just shiver.
Is it safe to even go into the building if he's taking things in through the building?
Polymer can correct me on this if I'm wrong, but to my knowledge, he doesn't actually absorb people. It's just it's inorganic things for the most part. technology,
just like-
technology and substances and stuff like that. It's different from polymers actually absorbing people power.
Right, yeah, just metal or wood or like materials.
Okay, gotcha.
The only time there's ever been any sign of absorbing people was specifically when he tried to absorb polymer, but that's due to their unique creation and everything else through Project Olympia, not his actual normal powers.
Because we're freaks.
Do what?
I was saying it's because we're freaks.
Oh.
Wait, so what happens if you try to absorb him while he's like that?
I've never tried while he actually was absorbing anything, but I should be okay.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I know I've absorbed him and then used his power before, but never while his power was active. I wouldn't think it would be that much harder.
Well, let's see if we can learn something while he's slowed down. Unless somebody's got something else. So that's all I've got right now.
The host, we will deliver more of the sedative, if necessary, if you are in there for some time, if he shows signs of normal function.
Okay, shall we? I direct my hand towards the building.
Yeah, let's head into the belly of the beast.
All right, so if y'all decide to head in, you're gonna have a pretty clear area that's just been completely decimated and brought down. It's basically ash and dirt at this point. They just completely decimated the surrounding area to try to create a blockade, kind of like you would with a forest fire, hoping it would stop him from expanding. And so far, it seems to have worked. So once you cross that, everything is pretty much under his control, though.
Okay, so we're inside now?
I'm assuming if you all cross that and are heading that way, then you're not necessarily in the building, but you are in his sphere of influence. Because there are multiple buildings. It's just the central piece that he has taken over is larger than the others. So you basically have to get through a couple city blocks to get to the heart of the main building where he's at.
For some reason, I imagine like all of us trying to sneak except for one person trying out their theme song.
It's Nancy, isn't it?
I don't know.
Nah, she's still bummed. She's not singing anything.
Yeah, my character's too embarrassed to apologize.
As they're walking, you hear Carmine's just meowing, and it does sound like the Meow Mix kind of theme song. But Polymer, in your head, you just hear him telling you off the whole time in a rhythmic manner.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything to him. I'm just sort of gritting my teeth and forcing myself forward at this point.
So as you step into a sphere of influence, the ground underneath you, it's solid, but you can feel it's like trying to move. Like he's already aware of your presence, basically, because you're walking on him. The sedative does appear to be working, though, as the ground isn't just straight up engulfing you or anything like that, but you can get a sense of movement from it as if it's trying to do something.
So, the main building then?
I love how none of you actually have travel powers.
We do. It's a chariot.
That got destroyed. You have that other ship now.
Right. We got the other ship. See, we do have a
Where
travel
is
power.
that? Oh, back on Earth.
Right.
Just to spite the GM, I'm going to turn myself into a vehicle-shaped object, and then I'm going to run everybody there.
Like a hang glider?
No, like car shaped, but with legs.
Roll to unleash your power. Is it temporary and unstable or market condition?
I'm gonna mark a condition.
Yeah, temporary unstable could be very bad right now if they're all inside of you.
Yeah.
So describe exactly what they see happen here.
How many of us are there?
There are 4 others and a cat.
Okay, so I start my shoulders start to get really big, and then my body just kind of also starts to get really big, and then it kind of grows up and out to the sides, and then and I'm still standing on my feet, and then I drop forward on my hands to where I'm on all fours now, and then my body starts to billow out even more, and it takes the shape of one of those Volkswagen party buses.
And as it's doing that, even if it didn't, it does now. You hear the sounds of muscles cracking and moving as they alter their shape and flesh shifting in on itself. It's very, very kind of gross sounding as this happens.
That's better than what I was imagining.
And then, window-sized portals open up, and then a big opening in the side. Just that's the sound it makes, and it opens up, and then it's all hollow inside with seats, and I'm like, "Get in, guys!"
So not only is this the first time y'all really seen him use his powers like that, but it's also probably one of the grossest things you've all ever seen.
Yeah, about that. Maybe we should. She starts pointing one way, and the other hand starts pointing the other way.
I inch forwards, I'm scooting my body over, and I'm like, "Come on, guys, let's go."
That's so cool! Nancy says as she just jumps up and grabs the top and swings herself in.
Nancy, what the fuck? Out of character. Saying that out of character.
The schlop. This is what it does long term. There's long term effects.
Oh, these seats are so soft.
Shit, I can't find an image for it on the Googles. But have y'all seen that little comic where a kid turns his friend into a tricycle? Because that's basically what I'm picturing here.
No, I picture Turbo Teen, so just gross version of Turbo Teen, which was creepy enough. Respec will slowly slide into Mr. Body because she's not going to be shown up by Nancy.
I just sort of shrug and plop myself into the nearest seat.
Lucy, do you get into Mr. Body has a car?
Come on, Lucy, get inside your friend.
She's super hesitant about it.
I go, beep, beep, let's go.
Yeah, at this point, there's peer pressure, so everybody else has done it.
Okay. She got in.
Okay, I shut the door opening, and it makes that horrible, horrible sound. And keep in mind that my arms and legs are not tires. It's just arms and legs. I mean, bigger, obviously, proportionally bigger. And
Can we keep a window open?
Yeah, I leave the windows open.
Where's your face right now, exactly?
It's a head-shaped hood ornament on the front. It's just It's just my head, like on the front of the car, and then all of a sudden these like, oh god, yeah, closer to something like that, Kyle. And then these like uh, tendons go across everybody's laps to secure them in place in the to keep them safe in the seats.
So yeah, so y'all are all sitting in the car, and a tendon grows across and straps you in.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, I
It's
start
okay.
running towards the building.
All right. I'm gonna have you go ahead and roll Unleash one more time.
Damn it!
Well, this is for the speed at which you move. So,
Oh.
so as you take off running, this whole thing was just amazing. Yeah, so you take off running towards the tower. You've got pretty good amount of speed, at least initially. Some of the road starts rising up, trying to create barricades to prevent you from passing. But you manage to leap over a few of them. Everybody's kind of like getting rocked about inside, and suddenly, though, you start feeling like a weird tickle. You're not sure exactly what it is, and it kind of distracts you and kind of slows you down a bit. Inside of the car, they see Carmine just like licking some little knobby piece of flesh that was like growing out of one of the seats. It's tickling Mr. Body and distracting him.
Hey, actually, how close to the alien guy were we when all this happened? Did he just watch one of us turn into a horrifying car?
He could have seen it, yeah. So yeah, so that's happening. And as you slow down, some of the building on either side of the street in front of you, you see kind of grow out these nodules, and what appear to be some sort of blaster like weapons kind of form out and start firing down at you all. So go ahead and roll to directly engage for either a dodge function, or if you want to try to do something to take them out while you're running down the street with everybody in you.
With everybody in me.
You're not the first person in this group to have their character turn into a car and have everybody get inside of them.
Oh yeah.
Now, granted, I was made of nanite, so it was less gross, but I still did it.
That's right. So you said directly engage?
Yeah. All right, so go ahead and pick 2. I would assume resist or avoid their blows is one of them.
Yeah, definitely. Like I'm just kind of like hopping around, and that's why I strapped everybody in. I'm like hopping around, avoiding the fire, doing like backflips, you know.
So I guess this should have been asked. Is everything dry where they're sitting?
Please?
Yeah, I have to be honest. I was thinking about that. I'm like, yeah. I mean, it's like leather.
Okay.
Hey, you guys are gonna hate me for this, but I just remembered I can open portals to any other character.
Well, you could still do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that just to go ahead and get us there. But we'll pull out of the portal looking so stylish.
Yeah, so go ahead and mark your doom track.
Let me finish my because I have one more engage.
Okay.
So, where are the guns coming from?
From a upper, like near the roofs of the building, but growing out of the top of it. So they're like a couple of like 3-story buildings on either side of you, shooting down. The windows would be far enough apart for you to like kind of climb up the side in your with the increased length of your limbs.
No, I think I will create an opportunity for Polymer to do the portal.
Okay.
So Polymer's like, hey, I'm gonna make a portal so we can go, to where we need to go, and then I'll be like, okay, and then I get us to like a state portion to where he can do that.
So yeah, so you're dodging, leaping around, blasting or avoiding the blasts as you kind of grab on to what looks like some sort of like light pole type feature and kind of twirl around it, throwing yourself down another side street as Polymer realizes, oh yeah, I can do this, and opens up a portal in front of you as you kind of like leap through it. And as you come out on the other side, you're in this large room full of a bunch of different like computer systems and technological devices, and they all have like these tetherious like growing pieces of organics growing out of them, and in the center of the room is what you can only assume is the actual physical body of Osmosis, although he's in kind of a extended X shape, his arms kind of going up, his legs down, and as they kind of extend and grow bulbous amounts of flesh into the buildings themselves, um, they looks like flesh, but if you touch it, it's actually the same material as the building. Um, and his face is looking upwards, and it's also kind of growing up into the building.
Respec will look at Syphon and go, no offense, but I'm not getting inside another teammate ever again, so you've lost your chance. These two have blown it for you.
I say that I'm glad it was a large room.
Real quick, how many marks do you want me to do on my Doom track? Because normally it's one, but I don't know if you want me to do an extra for so many people.
Yeah, do too.
Okay, cool. I collapse. Once we get inside, I collapse for a second.
Do you do that? Do you go limp inside of Mr. Body, or do you like fall limp as you get out and like just crumble to the ground?
Oh no, yeah, getting out as I step out of the car, just bloop.
Oh, I haven't let anybody out of their seatbelts yet.
Jesus Christ! Once you do that,
the vehicle has not come to a complete stop yet.
There's no seatbelt laws here.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't just remove the seatbelt. I have to do it.
Yeah, it's a tendon literally growing out of him, strapping you in.
Right.
Yeah, I tried to find the thing the cat was licking, and I just kind of tweak it a little bit. Not in a...
Okay, so yeah.
It proved to be uncomfortable for you earlier, distracting, so...
That's okay. I stopped the car and undo the straps and, okay, everybody off.
Nancy jumps out and just, we have to do that again sometime.
Okay.
No, we really don't.
out of character, Nancy. What the fuck?
She ate the sludge. First it was the cheese, and now it's the sludge.
She's always been very excitable, though.
All right, yeah, and the straps are undone, and then I open a hatch in the side of my body, and yeah.
All right, so as everybody gets out, like basically as soon as Polymer's feet hit the ground, she just crumples onto it.
Oh, out of character, I love the car. I just, in character, she's like, nope.
No offense taken.
As Syphon, as you see Polymer crumple to the ground, your eyes go wide and the veins kind of engorge as you see another tendril kind of growing out of Osmosis's chest, flying out and attaching itself to Polymer and absorbing her into him. That's her precog power. Y'all don't see it yet.
Oh.
Yeah, like, watch out! And I try to, like, jump on top of her.
Okay. Yeah, as you hear Syphon shout that and just kind of like she jumps on top of Polymer, you see the floating torso or of Osmosis kind of start undulating as it shoots out a mass of fleshy growth heading straight towards them. Unless somebody wants to like defend, I'm gonna have Syphon roll to directly engage for the dodge feature.
Yeah, I imagine most of us were caught off guard,
Okay, yeah. So
or at least my character was. I don't know about the others.
yeah, Syphon, go ahead and roll to directly engage.
No.
Let me add. We've got like 5 team points. I forgot to add it so people can assist or whatever.
Yeah, I can do a little bit of an assist. I guess it would be the basic defend. It would just be delayed.
Okay, so that would move it to 6. I don't know if Mr. Body is there anything you would try to do.
How are you moving to defend? Or how are you directly engaging Syphon?
I'm having her do it as a dodge. She like moved on top of Respec. I mean Polymer, and so it's basically kind of be effectively kind of rolling them out of the way.
I'm gonna, I guess, like give her a boost to her muscles to make her move quicker.
Okay, and how are you helping Respec?
I'm imagining I'm just kind of swatting at the tendril or whatever. It's not enough to fully get a defend in, probably, but it might help a little bit. It might just give that little bit of an edge.
Okay, so yeah, as you jump on Polymer, then the tendril starts growing out. Respec kind of like smashes at the side of it, kind of putting it a little bit off target as you feel the surge of energy coming from Mr. Body flow through you, allowing you to grab Polymer and roll out of the way with her as it slams into the ground. And the tendril kind of reforms back into its chest.
And it's not this stuff isn't made out of flesh.
Correct. It looks like it, but it's not made. The actual physical nature of it's not.
Okay.
Now, Osmosis is still alive, like he's a living being, but his skin is hardened to that of like the building material.
You see, the way I pictured his powers, I don't know if you guys ever watched Ben 10, but there was a character in there who could basically do the same thing, and that was kind of what I was picturing. But
Okay. Can I tell if he's consciously doing it or if this is a subconscious response?
Roll to unleash. Or no, actually, roll to. Yeah, I will do unleash. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd probably be either that or pierce the mask, but I don't. Yeah, I think it'd be unleash. It's a power.
Well, the power could be other ones too. It's just for that particular one thing, it would probably be unleash still. So yeah, reaching out again. You, I'm assuming short and temporary is fine for what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
It is directed. His thoughts seem to be slower than a normal human should be, but the sedative's pumping through him too. But it is conscious.
Okay. So he knows we're here. There's some way to. Can't force him to absorb. Kind of looking around. Is he absorbing like the. Does he look like different materials, or is it basically one material that is kind of prevalent?
Yeah, it looks like one is more prevalent than the others, but he is melded his consciousness with everything, all the inorganics in the room, all the building, all the machines and everything. But the main, like, effectively steel like structure of that would be in the buildings is his skin.
Turn to Polymer. How vulnerable is his form when he's like this?
You come to the ground, Polymer, but are you conscious?
Yeah, I'm conscious, but sort of gritting my teeth up at him, and I can still talk. But as far as how vulnerable he is, just depends on what he's absorbed. He's as vulnerable as whatever that is.
Which right now is the building material.
Right.
Well, I've done a bunch, so out of character, I'm going to back off while other people get their turns.
All right. Who wants to go? Do you stay as a car, Mr. Body, or you kind of reform back to normal?
Can I just turn back to normal?
Yeah, I'm back to my normal form.
Okay. So, we'll have you
And
go. Yeah, Mr. Body.
I'm guessing I'm naked now.
I was thinking you probably just internalized the suit or something into your glove box, and now it's back on.
Well, that's a good idea. Okay, yes. What should we do? We've got to incapacitate him somehow.
I mean, we have, out of character, we have one character who can control life, basically, and one character who can drain life from things, and he is still alive.
No, I didn't know. I just assumed I wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, he's still biological in his core body. He's just got a bunch of non-biological parts now that he's in control of.
Yeah, we're standing right in front of his physical body.
Does he seem aware that we're? Oh well, I guess obviously if he tried to get Polymer.
Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and Kyle, if it's cool, go ahead and use my moment of truth for the fight.
Yeah, just take it over. Take total narrative control. Do your thing.
Okay, then yeah, I struggle for my feet after a couple seconds and basically just turn to everyone and say, "Guys, don't worry, I've got this." And as I say it, it's almost like I'm starting to glitch out a little bit, like that sort of double effect to my voice and whatever. And in a quick burst, not even touching everyone, I just flash pull everybody and pull everyone in and absorb all of them. So there's that. But then for the actual fight, I will activate everyone's powers. Mr. Bodies to kind of grow myself up. And are there any plants or anything I could use to make like an armor at all?
No real plant life. There's microbial life, but no plant.
Okay, then yeah, just to make myself the same size, so I'm not like a regular person trying to jump up and punch him. So I'm going to do that. Activate Lucy's life drain in my hands, so that like anytime I punch him, it's slowly bringing that bar down a little bit, and also her precognition just enough to, basically enough to give myself a faster reaction time against anything that he might send out. With what is it? Yeah, with Respec's power, I'm going to just lay down a constant psychic scream, kind of like has happened with us a couple times, sort of that Charles Xavier from Logan type of thing. And I don't have anything to activate from Nancy and Carmine. That was mostly just keeping them out of the way. But aside from that, I'm just wailing on his physical body and basically shouting at him, "You will stop this right now," kind of thing.
Yeah, the other power from Respec, if you want to pull on that, is also impossible fighting skills.
Oh, well then hell yeah. Then yeah, use that to dodge anything he might send at me, and so I'm not just going punch, 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 like actually moving around and fighting as necessary.
Okay. So yeah, as you absorb all of them, you all kind of come to in a waiting room inside of Polymer's mind, and you can see on a large TV screen through her eyes what's going on as she increases in size, and you can feel the same sensations of all of your powers activating that you would normally feel as she moves in to confront Osmosis. And at the first blow she lands, you kind of see him convulse a little bit. And with the second blow, he starts retracting the limbs until he's standing there in the room now at his normal size with her. She's still kind of towering over him from her increased size as he tries to throw down, throwing a punch here and there, but she's ducking and weaving as she lands more blows, draining his life more and more as he's just distorted and distracted from the psychic scream until you finally you lay one last blow across his face, and it drops him to the ground, and he does not appear to be breathing.
Okay, then I'm gonna, before I spit everybody out, I'm gonna pull him in, and I guess before I spit them all out, try to use enough of Respec's power to see if I can get through to his mind this time, and actually see if I can break whatever it is that Project Olympian did to him.
I mean, yeah, he's pretty unconscious, so you pretty much have total control. You're able to resort some of his mental programming and whatnot, but with Mr. Body's power, you're also able to detect, though, that there is some sort of implant that also influences control that you can't just fix psychically.
Okay, since there's nothing I can do about it right now, I guess I'll make a mental note about that for later when we are able to do something about it.
Okay, so then you expel everybody else?
Yeah, pop everyone else back out.
All right, and so then all of you find yourself like thrown back out of the waiting room, back into the room, with no sign of osmosis, with Polymer just reverting back to her normal size. As you look at her, she's regressing back to normal, and she's standing in the middle of the room, effectively where osmosis had been.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I got him. I got him, guys.
I didn't know you could take us all in like that.
I kind of didn't either, but I guess whatever these guys did when they got him out. Also, out of character, Kyle, do you want me to mark any doom for that? Because I know normally if I'm using extra powers,
Moment of Truth says to mark a doom sign after you use it.
Okay, so just the one?
No, doom sign, not doom track, doom sign. So one of the things you would mark whenever you fill out your doom track.
Okay, then yeah, I've got one doom sign left. And then the next one will be your doom sign. And actually, I guess in that moment, one of the ones I've taken was Dark Visions. So if I can have a vision activate and basically just sort of confirm, yeah, that's going to happen again, but next time you might not survive. Or actually, I think Dark Vision is supposed to be that I ask you a question, so never mind.
Yeah. Nancy's just like ecstatic, and it's like she looks over at Respec. So, do you have a power that we all go inside of you too?
No, and then she stops and she goes, huh? I don't know. I mean, not physically. Kind of taps her temple. Maybe.
So cool. Yeah, so I guess what do y'all all do and everything there after being expelled and seeing Polymer took care of the situation?
Well, I guess we go let them know that it's done and head home.
Yeah, I pat Polymer on the back and say, good job.
I'm going to go ahead and do a portal now so that we don't have to get back inside Mr. Body.
Well, I mean, without osmosis there, we can just kind of hand wave y'all getting back without any problems or anything.
Oh, all right. That's cool too.
The building, does this seem stable and everything now that he's no longer part of it?
This one does. There's going to be definitely some reconstruction as some of the buildings were fused together, and other ones did collapse outside, like around the edges that were in like some mid-transformation as he's trying to grow a body out of them, basically. But this one seems okay.
All right, and are there mines around now that he's...
Yeah, there are. It appears, as far as y'all can tell, that they were kind of cordoned off into little cells that he made out of the building. As y'all kind of walk down to leave and everything, there are a lot of corpses as well, but there are survivors.
Okay.
So it's not a totally bad end or anything like that.
Is there anyone who needs help?
I could use a piggyback ride.
I turn into a car again and say, okay, get in. Just kidding.
I won't even make you roll for it for this particular moment if you want to.
Respec will start walking.
Yeah, there are some injured as well that be helped out, but their own people are mostly taking care of it pretty efficiently now that they have control of their buildings and their technology again.
Okay.
And so as y'all get out of the building, the pod y'all arrived in is actually right in front of the doors with the host, and he's just, thank you. That was much quicker than we anticipated. We owe you all a great deal.
That's the sort of part of Mr. Body. I think he wanted his ship.
Could you maybe like send a message with us back home about how great of a help and how we shouldn't be in trouble when we get back? And we were only helping you out. We didn't steal a ship. I mean, it belonged to you.
You'll be in trouble when you return home.
Yeah, our leaders wanted to keep the ship, and I basically took it by force.
And people our age tend to stay in trouble.
I pointed Nancy and Lucy. They're supposed to be in school.
Oh, shh. Clamps her hand over her mouth.
Well, you should not be gone for too long. We will try to return you to the time from when you left.
Wait, how long it cut up?
Wait, you're going to return us to the time?
Yes, you will be returned to your own time.
I say, but before we go, can you tell me what I am?
Oh, yes, it's interesting. We never knew the origin of our particular makeup as we currently are, but we evolved from you and those like you. Though with the ship records, we determined that because you came from the descendants of those who crashed on the ship, but they came from our time. It's a closed temporal loop. We exist because of you, and you exist because of us. Again, not you personally, but those descended like you from us that turn into us.
So there's more like me?
There are others who have the lineage of our people who crashed on on this planet in the primitive times.
Huh.
Wait, are we on future Earth right now?
Out of character, yes. Do you ask that in character?
In character, sure, yeah.
Yes.
Well, I guess in character is more, what's the name of your planet?
This is Earth, yes.
Boy, you must have sounded really silly when you tried to tell them you're from Earth.
Yes. It was amusing. But we realize you probably did not know.
Wait, so what happens to the humans?
Natural selection. They are eventually replaced, just as the flow of time moves.
But we didn't like kill ourselves or anything, right? It wasn't like global warming or global nuclear warfare or something like that.
Well,
Do you have details so we can like avoid it?
no, we won't be giving you any details of specific events. The engines are still powering, but you should be aware that when you return, it won't be in your original bodies. You will project your consciousness back, and they will grow into receivers that have been sent that will regrow your body from your genetic material that we've sampled here. Everything will appear the same, but it technically won't be your original body.
I don't know. I mean, cloning's awfully unethical.
If you wish to stay, that can be arranged, I'm sure.
No, okay.
Well, we did just do like a lot for you guys, so maybe we could have the ship back.
That cannot happen. I'm sorry.
Okay. So we just basically save the race of people that replaces you.
Effectively, yes. Or more what humanity grows into, is those with the same genetic legacy as you grow more prominent.
Wait, there's like a Mrs. Body out there?
I don't know if he meets anybody or not. But others who came from the settlers, as we now call them, do exist. Nancy just kind of like nudges you, Lucy, and is like, "What? Are you getting this?"
Mm. I'm just gonna like hush her, like be quiet.
No. Oh, okay. Okay. There. Any other questions, or we can retreat to the facilities, and you can eat or rest or whatever you need to do as we prepare the transport home for you.
How often do people cross back and forth like this?
Our own people use the time drives on the ships to explore and learn more about where we came from and the nature of things. Others typically do not come here from other times. The settlers who crashed on ancient Earth are the first that we have lost. There will be new considerations put into place for the temporal exploration of the timeline.
What was the simulation about that we had when we had those dreams?
While the records from the ship showed you were appearing to do good and return the ship home, they were more of a test to ensure you were not a threat to us, being post-humans yourselves.
I see.
It was a world created from various memories and thoughts of all of you amalgamated into a shared experience.
Wait. Post-humans. We're all human.
Well, I simply mean altered human with abilities that most humans at your time do not have.
Uh, uh, mental note.
Yes, you are human. Though you did have a trace of something other, something etheric about you. It may be the nature of your psychic abilities.
I don't know. Maybe your sensors are off.
It's possible, but unlikely. Just as he kind of turns towards Syphon, you have traces of those that claim to be of divinity.
I just kind of nod my head.
You, though, and he turns to Polymer,
I figure gun nervously.
you are. I believe you are potentially aware already, but you're partially artificial, it seems.
Yup. That's me. Human weapons. Woo.
Yes, you did appear to be designed more than birthed.
That actually reminds me. In your time, I suppose it wouldn't necessarily have the same name, but does the name Project Olympian mean anything to you?
Other than what we have obtained from the records from the ship as they tried to claim it, no.
Well, that's good. That's encouraging.
So out of character, unless anybody has any more questions, we can kind of jump ahead to getting you all back home. Unless there's anything else y'all wanted to do on the planet, future Earth.
Should we ask about mech suits for Carmine and Nancy?
Oh, yeah, Nancy next to Carmine, I don't know. Cats are assholes.
That's fair. Maybe a hamster ball that lets him talk to other people, so it's not just me.
I don't know. It's pretty mean to take away the suit that he's got from him after giving it to him.
Are y'all saying any of that like out loud, or is that psychic link, or out of character, or?
Imagine Psychic Link unless somebody else is out loud.
Yeah.
Nancy's gonna probably be out loud when she hears her name in the psychic link. But aside from that,
I don't remember. Did y'all ever put her in the psychic link?
oh shit, did we?
I don't think y'all did.
No. I think we've been slowly just edging her into things, and being cyclically connected seemed like kind of a jump.
So I guess that was the yeah. Let's go ahead and ask about that one.
Yeah, let's leave Carmine in the mech suit. That could come in handy.
Finally, someone else will be able to hear it.
Can always like maybe ask for control over it so you can turn it off when you want. So if he's like begging for food and running around the room, you know, you have a choice of when he's allowed to do that.
I like that. That sounds like a good idea.
Does Nancy need a mech suit?
I mean, we all need mech suits, but I think she needs it more than the rest of us.
Does
One with gun.
Bigger question: would you really want Nancy in a mech suit?
I get the feeling she has powers of her own.
You know what? She's probably the best of us. So yeah.
I'm cool with Iron Nancy.
Iron Nancy.
So y'all propose the questions to them, and he's just, we can't let future technology return to your time beyond what is necessary to regrow you there. I'm sorry.
Hey, don't apologize to us. Apologize to the cat and the girl.
Yeah, look her in the eye and apologize.
Yeah, she had like kind of got excited at the mention of it, and then that the no got dejected again. And when you say that, he kind of turns to her and just looks at her, and I'm sorry. I understand. And starts kicking the ground again.
Damn, that's harsh. You could say no to her while looking her in the eye.
I kind of
Future sucks.
yeah. I say to the group in the group chat. I don't know why I called it group chat, but that's what popped in my head.
Well, that's what it is now.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we got the short straw here. Like we came and did all this for them, and we don't get crap. But whatever, that's what heroes do.
Yeah.
I say sarcastically. I'm just glad everyone's okay. I guess.
They mentioned a time loop. I mean, maybe this is how they maintain it. What if we're part of that time loop? We could be the end of the human race if we go back.
I might be okay with that.
You would be okay with being the end of your own people?
Oh, I'm joking.
I mean, what do we really know about them?
How long have we been standing here in the group chat? Like, is it starting to get awkward that nobody's saying anything?
I think we've established that group chat is pretty much instantaneous between moments.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to Polymer. Are you getting anything from osmosis? I mean, what does he know about these people? He was building here.
Kyle?
I mean, everything that they've been saying, as far as what little bit he has, seems to be on the level. They don't seem to be hiding anything. They don't seem to be terrible people. But I mean, the building he was in was more like a financial institution of some sort, not like a library or anything.
Oh shit, did we find a future bank?
Yeah, yeah.
Follow the money. Follow the money.
But if you follow the money, all of it seems to be going toward, almost all of it seems to be going towards, like outreach programs to lesser privileged worlds and things like that. Like, as far as you can tell from what he's discovered from being merged with their systems and everything else, they do seem to be good people.
If they're doing better than we do.
I mean, if y'all want to stay and become future heroes or go back, that's entirely up to you. Which way the game goes.
No, I guess we should probably go back.
Yeah, I think we can go back.
Does that slop taste the same every time you eat it, Nancy, or does it change?
It's tasted the same so far. Maybe it'll, since it tasted like something different for him. Maybe it'll change if you're in a different mood or something. I really love pistachio green tea.
Yeah, but wouldn't you get sick of it if you had it like all the time?
No.
Huh.
I mean, I'd miss my family if we stayed.
Yeah.
I'd probably ask to go back if y'all stayed. Anyway, I want to be part of the team, but I don't want to leave.
And really, with us gone and osmosis gone, how much trouble do they need our help with here, really?
Isn't that one senator trying to enact legislation to control heroes?
He means on future Earth. Like, what help would y'all be?
Yeah, here.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, the only trouble they needed our help with here was the trouble we brought with us.
Yeah, no, they don't need us.
When we reform, what happens to osmosis?
Polymer absorbed him again.
Right, but we're going back into constructs that grow into new bodies for us or something like that.
That's true.
I would ask them, do you know what would happen to osmosis if we go back?
If we run more diagnostics on Polymer, then we can adjust things so that it should result in the same nature of things as they are now.
Could we put osmosis back without without his powers? I was about to say without the implant, but I just realized my character wouldn't know about that.
Changing things would complicate the issue. It could negatively affect your friend unless she separates from him and we send you back separately.
That might be safer than sending him back absorbed inside of her.
Yeah. Wait, you said cut off his powers? Or cut off... Hang on, I think I got myself mixed up now. You were saying send him back without his powers, right?
Yeah, I was asking if they could maybe cut off his powers when they send him back.
Okay, making sure. I think my head got stuck on the implant.
How you wish to return in that regard is up to you. As long as he is not conscious and able to take control of our technology, we can send him back separately.
We'll just go as we are. If possible, if I can turn him to our side, his powers could come in pretty handy.
Very well. And so y'all all kind of get back in the pod and reconvene back at the place you awoke from the stimulation. Oh, very well. And so you all kind of get back in the pod and head back to the place where you awoke from the simulation. And some more time passes. I don't know. Respec, do you ever try the goop?
No, I think at this point, while she's curious, it's one of those things where no, she doesn't want to take the chance. She's waited this long.
Okay. Yeah, Nancy comes back in with another bowl and takes a bite, and just her eyes light up and just, oh, cinnamon mocha.
Yeah, at this point, she's like, what would Remort do? And yeah, she's not going to touch it.
Okay. And so they eventually get everything set up. They walk you all into this chamber that has more of the kinds of pods you've come to know from the ship and from the simulation, and inform you that you get in and they've already seeded the body growth technology into the past, and this will project your consciousness into it. But yeah, so they've seeded the technology into the past. It'll project your consciousness back into it, which will activate the growth function, which will create the amniotic chamber to grow the new life form that will be you, that will perfectly match your current makeup. All right, so they get you into the pods to send your consciousness back, and you kind of feel everything kind of go dark, and a strange swooshing sensation kind of overcomes you. And the next thing you're aware of is basically kind of spilling out of what looks like a little egg made of metal that you slosh onto the ground. Inside the pod are duplicates of your clothing that they simulated and sent back with it. But you are all in different locations. You're actually having going access from your mind where they send it back, kind of like Mr. Body, you're in your apartment. Polymer, you come to in your base. Syphon, you're
Is Absorption still absorbed, or did they make him like a separate body?
you do feel that he is still absorbed.
Okay.
Nimi, you're in your room, and for some reason, Syphon, you actually come to like in the side of your house and not in the room, like they missed it or something interfered with the send back or something.
Sorry, what's this one?
What was that?
Sorry, can you repeat what you just said?
Oh, where you got sent back.
Yeah.
You came to like on at the side of your house, not like in your room or something like that.
Okay.
Respec, you came back in your room, but it's I forget. Or do you stay with your mom or your dad?
I was at one, and then we moved to switch schools, and I don't remember if we switched back.
Okay.
I think we did.
Okay, so whichever one it is the one you appeared in your room there.
Yeah, I think I'm at my mom's. I think we did switch back, but
Okay.
don't remember for certain.
Okay. So yeah, as you kind of get your stuff back on and everything else, Lucy, you as you go back home or go back in the house, the door is locked when you get to it, and you don't have keys or anything on you. You also all lost your phones or any technology you had on you.
Can I try to sneak in through my window?
Okay. I guess you like would normally have one open or something.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so you climb up like you normally do to get out, and as you go into your room, there's somebody sitting on your bed, and as you kind of double take, it's somebody who looks just like you. And they kind of look at you and go, "Oh, you're here." And we're going to stop there.
All right. We're home and nothing's amiss.
So, end of session moves.
I guess I kind of grew away from the team because I found out the nature of my origin and that I'm, much less human than I thought I was.
Okay.
We were also kind of rude about the whole car thing.
I was
That-
actually
That couldn't help.
I was actually like, maybe I should grow closer to the team since I did the car thing and I had everybody inside me. But then that was kind of changed by the whole finding out that I'm like a missing link in between now and future humans.
And so you take away influence from one of the other characters over you. Who do you take it away from, and why that person?
Who is the most human in the group?
Nancy.
Of the player characters, I mean, either Syphon or Respec. They're human with powers that developed from other reasons, but Polymer straight up basically a test tube synthetically created human.
Yeah, Syphon's powers are probably closer to yours. I mean, they're sort of a flip, but they're probably closer.
Yeah, I'm kind of going like a disenfranchised with humans route. So
Yeah.
that's my reason, not necessarily the powers. I'm trying to think.
I forget, Syphon. Are you the Janus?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, we're both pretty mundane in our lives outside of heroing. But that's sort of the focus of that one. I've got influence over you, so that's something you could take away from me. I don't know if I'm actually helping here.
Oh, wait. Okay, so influence from somebody else goes with it, not. Okay, sorry, I was thinking of it backwards.
Yeah. I've got a mundane of 2.
Okay, I'll say Respec
Okay, I'll remove you from my...
loses influence over me. Maybe we're just kind of like, things are a little weird in my head because of this finding out my nature. Things are maybe weird in your head because the car thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Respec, you want to go next?
Yeah, I'm guessing grow away from the team because I'm tired of being inside of people.
Ooh, good point.
I mean, that's pretty much the only... Everything's pretty much up in the air, but that's the only thing I can really point out and go, okay, this kind of changed me right here, maybe a little bit. Let's see. I guess I would take it away from Mr. Body because she was kind of grossed out about the car thing, even though I think it was awesome.
Okay. Syphon?
I think I would do grow more into the image of myself.
Okay.
Since I learn more, I guess, about myself and like the future. Like I feel like it's kind of the opposite. Yeah, and I guess since I learned like more about like where my lineage goes and stuff.
Okay. Then you shift one of your labels up and one of them down. Do you know which ones you're shifting?
I shifted freak up and mundane down.
Okay. And Polymer?
I'm gonna say I grew toward the team because I also had everyone inside me.
Okay. Who do you give influence to?
Does anyone not have influence over me at this point?
Well, if they have it, then whoever you pick gets to shift one of your labels up and one of them down, or just leave it unchanged.
Well, yeah, but I guess first, is there anyone to give it to? If not, then I'll pick someone to shift my label.
Does everybody have influence over Polymer?
I do.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Okay, then I will pick Mr. Body to shift my labels because he also had everyone inside of him, even though it was gross.
So what are your labels right now?
Let me see. Freak is 0, Danger is 1, Savior is 3, Superior is 2, and Mundane is -2.
And what's the problem numbers?
If anything goes above 3, marks a condition. If anything would go below -2, mark a condition. And you don't get the change.
And your superior is what?
Superior is +2, Mundane is -2.
What's your freak?
Zip, or 0.
Okay, I'm going to shift your freak up 1. Wait, okay. Hold on. Tell me the numbers again. I'm going to write them down so I can remember.
Freak was 0, Danger is 1, Savior is 3, Superior is 2, Mundane is -2.
I mean, really, I feel like freak should go up and mundane should go down, but mundane's already down so low.
Let me see. Danger could go down, I guess, since I did more saving than like harming or anything like that.
Yeah, but you definitely directly engage what's his face by grabbing. I'm also thinking about the applications.
Oh crap, that's right. I always forget what goes with what, to be honest.
Not like in a metagaming sense, but in a sense of just making sense of what they do. We'll do freak up 1, and so it's below a 3 is bad, or below or above a 3 is bad.
-2 is as low as you can go, and 3 is as high as you can go.
Well, that's not even. Okay.
And if you would shift something that would go below or above that, then I get to inflict a condition of my choice on them.
And we'll do savior down 1. So freak +1, savior down 1.
All right.
Cool. All right. Well, glad we finally got that volume resolved.
Because you did a really freaky power, and then you did save them, but at the same time you brought what's his face back with you. So who knows? What's that going to do?
In fairness, he's knocked out, and I assume I'm just gonna stick him into one of our little stasis pods.
But he's not dead. He's still here.
Oh yeah.
He's like still on Earth.
Wait, hang on, that cut out. What?
I said he's still on Earth. We found out. So you saved future Earth and possibly put present day Earth in peril.
Well, at least we saved one of them.
It's true.